Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. I'm continuing the discography review of Sevendust, and today we're going to be talking about Blackout the Sun, the band's ninth album released on March 26th, 2013 through Asylum Records. Now, Blackout the Sun marks the band's first album in almost 3 years, but because I think mostly in 2012 the band sort of went on a little hiatus because the band sort of like had some different side projects, like Clint Lowry and Morgan Rose had a band called Call Me No One, and John Connolly and Vinnie Hornsby had another side project called Projected. But I pretty much right around near the end of 2012 they pretty much regrouped together and worked on Blackout the Sun. And this album, I think, in my opinion, and has more of a darker vibe and has a little, still has a little bit plenty of melody, which kind of sounds like a mixture of like something from like Alpha or Animosity or even Seasons, and it's just melded into one. And I feel like with the result being Blackout the Sun, like this album has like different styles. Like there's some heavy songs, some more melodic songs, and even some just straight up hard rocking songs. And I just think I really like that. Let's just talk about like production wise, fantastic. Vocally, Lejean just puts so much emotion into his singing. When he does more of the gruffier kind of like scream, harsher vocals, it sounds great. And guitar wise, Clint and John can do no wrong. And Clint actually does some different things vocally. Like he does sort of like harmonize with Lejean, same thing with John. But I feel Clint also does a little bit of like backup growls, and damn, he has a great growls. I was kind of surprised hearing it on some of the songs, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Bass wise, Vinnie Hornsby's bass, I wish was a little bit more audible. I just wish Vinny's bass was turned up so you could definitely hear it as well as like Clint and John's guitars. And drumming wise, Morgan Rose is a superb drummer, and especially when he does his like backup sort of like screams is just sick. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the song Memory, which starts off with a soothing kind of like acoustic guitar little piece, which kind of like gives you like a like what to expect before just getting right into the heavy metal song known as Faithless, which is a great song, especially with like lyrics such as like the burning ends you've come around, so step back to and so lift yourself slowly, it's taken away. Hey, it's just a great song. Then we move on to, in my opinion, the heaviest song on here, if not one of the heaviest songs on here, which is Till Death, which starts off with a drum intro from Morgan, and it just assaults you, and it's pretty much the heaviest song that since Clint's re-entry to the band. But in my honest opinion, I feel like that song's the heaviest they've done since Alpha, which came out in 2007. And this song is still Sevendust, but it's mixed with elements of like other bands I like especially thrash, melodic death metal, and this song is just awesome. Next song on the album is called Mountain, and this song has a bit more of a hard rock vibe. It's a pretty good song, but I don't really dig it as much as like the rest of the songs on here. It's an anthem, so it sort of like chugs along. It is a great song, but it just doesn't really have that feel. But I will say the guitar solo in it is awesome. Then we move on to Cold as War, which starts off with a chugging riff, and it goes into a song that sounds like something from like their older albums. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, but this song has a bit more of a darker, more energetic vibe to it, and it's still a softer song. It's rock, and it's just feels a little bit more soulful and just relaxed than like the other tracks on the album. Then we move on to the title track of the album, Blackout the Sun, and this song just follows in just the atmospheric, but it's just more emotional and a little bit more heavier. And the solo is pretty much better, and it ends on it too. And I really like the verses, and there's like a little bit of a dark vibe that goes along to it. Another highlight of here. Then we move on to Nobody Wants It, and this one gets like the intensity just back up at 1,000,000 mph. And the verse just sounds really upbeat and heavier. And the chorus has some really sick double bass work, and it has a good groovy vibe to it. And I like this one quite a bit. Then we move on to the next song on the album, which is called Dead Roses. And this, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Sevendust songs ever. And this is good as pretty much Till Death, but it's pretty different. And this song, like musically, has a little bit of like a power metal vibe, especially in like the chorus. It has that kind of like epic feel to it. And just the solo section is very epic, which I would just consider this to be kind of like the epic Sevendust song. Then we move on to next song on the album, which is called Decay, which I believe was like the first single released from this album. And this song is pretty much dark, like Till Death, but it just takes a step back to the heaviness. And it's a very grooving song, a lot of double bass drumming in the verses and some really grooving riffs in the chorus. And this is a song to just headbang to. And Lejean's vocals are really great, as well as the guitars, and the riff kind of sounds really weird, especially like odd times with some syncopated riffs. Yes, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good song as well. Then we move on to Dark AM, and this one has like a groovy metal feel, kind of like something from like Alpha, but it has a little bit more of a darker feel and a great chorus, and it has a heavy verse, melodic chorus. I kind of like the change between heavy and melodic. It's a very nice tune. Picture Perfect. This one starts off with sort of like a very dark sound, and then Lejean's voice just sounds really great. And I feel like it sounds like something could be from their previous albums, but sort of like the atmosphere and darkness behind the chords make it stand out from like the other songs. Then we go into Got a Feeling, and this song is very haunting, and it also features Clint singing with Lejean sort of like chiming in with sort of like harmonies, and this song almost kind of sounds very country-esque, but lyrically I feel like it talks about death. It's very haunting. I mean, just looking for the title is just be a party song, but this song is just very dark and beautiful, and it's very well crafted. And then the album closes with Murder Bar, which is arguably the best song on the album. It's sort of like harkens back to like something from like the self-titled or even Seasons. It's a very strong way to end the album. Now overall, Blackout the Sun by Sevendust is a really great album. I thought this was pretty much their best thing since probably Alpha. So if I have to give this album a score, I'm probably going to give this a solid 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of Blackout the Sun by Sevendust, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.